Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with my co-host Ali. Say hi, Ali.
Hello.
Tamu. So it's been a really long time since we've done this podcast. Has it been like a year?
I feel like closer to 2.
Oh my god, we're old. It's 2 years since we've done this podcast. And I swear I posted on the Instagram. I was like, new episode dropping like every single month. Just because I've been so busy. And also Ali lives 40 minutes away, so it's hard.
Yeah, but you know.
How you been?
I've been alright. I'm supposed to be like a senior or something, but I think I have like another half a year left at least. So that's kind of not fun, but I get to go to a divorce party.
Woo!
Divorce party.
What is the divorce party? Is this like someone who got divorced and you celebrating for them?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good thing.
No, it is.
Okay, good.
You need to have a divorce if you're not happy with your marriage.
That is true.
And she didn't hate him at first, but over time he started to show how much of like a dickhead he was. So it became easier for him or for her to hate him.
Right.
Yeah, so it is literally my professor. I'm gonna shout out.
What the fuck, really?
Yeah.
You're a professor?
Yeah, like I had one class with her. It's so funny, just one class, and then she decided to become like one of my closest friends there.
That's so sweet. How old is she?
Girl, I don't know. Maybe like in her early 40s. Maybe.
Oh, wow.
I'm guessing early 40s because she was married to him for a while.
Wow. Well, congrats to her.
Honestly, yeah.
Just tell her I send my wishes and good luck. Tell her I said slay.
Oh yeah, of course.
She doesn't know me.
She doesn't have to. She'll know you when she listens to this.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because she's gonna so be listening to this.
Sponsor us.
Please.
So, okay, well, how you been?
Okay, so I'm busy but not busy. Like, I'm unemployed, or like in between jobs because I don't have an internship right now. I just got out of one like during the summer.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for the next internship. But I still am doing my side hustles, babysitting, dog sitting, tutoring.
Feet pics,
OnlyFans. You know the vibe.
Yeah, she's so, like, busy and not busy that when I invited her to have Khao Piak Sen, because I worked so hard, my 2 tiny little red hands, she couldn't come over because the day of she was like, oh, the dog is pooping blood.
It was.
Like, she made that up.
No,
because she didn't want to come 40 minutes.
I showed you the video of the dog
she'll
pooping
come 40
blood.
minutes to film podcasts so she can get revenue or something.
That's not true. I wish I got revenue. I wish I got paid.
I'm kidding. I don't know if you couldn't come over for that, which is fine because it's so easy to make. Like, when was the last time you had Khao Piak or Khao Piak Sen?
Honestly, it's been a really, really long time. From my memory, but my memory is really bad, so don't trust me. But I think been a year. Mainly because, like, I love homemade Khao Piak Sen, and I'm not home anymore, so, like, no one can make it for me. And I kind of missed my chance when you made it, and I didn't go.
I would probably make it again because, like, as we know, it's Khao Piak season.
Yeah, it is Khao Piak season. Because
it's getting a little chilly out there. Yeah, I will teach you eventually because it honestly is like so fucking easy.
Yeah, I've seen my parents do it in the kitchen. Like, I always see my mom pouring the hot water and the flour and just like kneading it, and I gotta build my hands up. My hands are too like sensitive.
Yeah, the trick to that, if you can't like grow resistance to that, is just double gloving. You only need to knead with one hand anyway.
Wow. These are some really good tips for free, guys. For free. We're not even getting paid for this.
No, okay. When I say it's simple, like, seriously, you already know the broth is simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ginger, cilantro, chicken, and nampa and sugar, basically. Like, that's about it. And then when it comes to the noodles, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of tapioca flour and rice flour. Not glutinous rice flour, like the red bag.
Right.
And then I just pour boiling hot water on there until it looks like they're coming together. And then before I add too much, I'm just like kneading it until it can become a ball. And if there's like dry spots, I'll add a little bit more hot water. I literally don't have a measurement for the hot water.
Right. And there's never measurements. There's never like
not exact
cheese.
No, because as soon as you try to like if you were to measure water and then put it on the boiler, it's gonna evaporate.
Right.
Or if you try to measure it out of the pot that you just boiled out of, it gets cool. You want it to be as hot as it can be into the mixture of flour.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I was in Johnson and Wales, I was making the dough with the kettle, and the kettle, like, it boils it, the electric one, but when I unplugged it and I brought the kettle to the table to knead it, it wasn't hot enough.
Really? I don't think it was hot enough for that.
You would think, right? But it was.
So what do you use?
I literally take a saucepan, fill it with water, and put it on the stove. And as soon as it boils, I take it off of the stovetop, but I don't turn off the heat, so I can put it back on the heat, and it boils up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your first time making Khao Piak Sen?
No, I've made it a lot. Like, I'd say this could have been like my 10th time making it.
So you're a pro.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but it's just because it's simple.
Yeah, that's
literally.
true. It always looks so complicated. Like, growing up, I would like stand by my mom and watch her make it, and to me, it just looked like a lot of work.
It actually kind of is, but it's only a lot of work when it comes to like making the noodles. Yeah,
the noodles, like I would sit here and knead the noodles, and then we never had like a rolling thing. So we used like the, what do you call that? The thumb, like for thumb hole.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot what you call it. And we would use that to roll it out, and then she would cut it with her cleaver.
Yeah, as you should.
Do you like thicker noodles or thinner noodles?
I mean, I'm a slurper, so I need it to be thicker.
I do need thick.
Because the thing about Khao Piak Sen is, like, I grew up using a spoon for it. I didn't grow up using, like, chopsticks.
Right,
because chopsticks aren't even Laotian.
Right, we use our hands.
And if it's soup, then we use the soup spoon.
Right. That's so true. Like, I never really noticed that. It's like, you don't actually use chopsticks with any of the meals. Sometimes we just use it because it's convenient.
Yeah. But have you ever seen, like, your grandparents use chopsticks when they eat?
No, unless they're eating pho.
Right,
like, things that are not Lao, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of miss eating with my hands, not gonna lie. Because I feel like now it's just so, like, messy, so I can't do it around my friends. They're like, why are you eating with your hands when you can eat with...
Yeah, I feel like we kind of talked about this before on the podcast, like, the gentrification of our eating habits.
Yeah, that's so true. That's another podcast. That's another topic. But whenever you think of Khao Piak Sen, what does that, like, conjure up in your mind, like, memory-wise?
It's, like, begging my mom to make
it.
Because like you said, like, it's labor-intensive. Whenever it came to making pho, my mom would rather just, like, make the broth or just use khao instead of, or rice. She'd rather use rice, so it became, like, congee rather than, like, make the noodle part, the sen.
Right.
But I didn't like the khao as much as I like sen.
Right.
Cause I like the noodle part. It's literally one of my favorite noodle dishes.
It is.
In Lao cooking. And because I learned how to make it, and because I've, like, been living on my own for, like, a while now, I can't tell you the last time she, like, made that for me. Where you can, like, be like, oh, maybe a year ago. I can't even tell you.
Wow. When do you normally have it? For, like, Khao Piak Sen? Do you just ask her whenever, or do you have a specific time?
I usually wait when it gets kind of cold when I asked her. But sometimes, you know, you just got that craving, and, you know, your mom's always cooking, so you're like, well, you in the kitchen anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Hey mom, can you, like, teach me how to make Khao Piak Sen? And then you just, like, stare at her. Yeah, she don't. I asked my mom, like, you know, can you teach me how to make this? And she'd be like, just watch me. Like, yes,
I need to know more.
No, because before I used to think, oh, I need exact measurements. like when I was younger, even when I was in culinary school, I was like, how am I gonna learn if I don't know the measurements? And you do start with measurements, but now I don't even bust out the measuring cups.
Yeah, same. I only use measuring cups for like American recipes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or a recipe that I'm trying for the first time.
Right. We have like a culinary chair for CISA, and I think we have like this event coming up where we serve a bunch of Southeast Asian food.
Wow.
But I cannot tell them what the recipe is, for example, like drunken noodles, because I don't use a recipe. I don't use measurements. I'm just like, just a little bit of that, just a little bit of this. Yeah. Like, you know, just toss it in until it feels right, you know?
No, it's called drunken noodles. Like,
yeah, drunken noodles. So you make while you drunk.
Yeah, who's drunk taking out a measuring cup?
Yeah.
Doing that.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't had Khao Piak Sen in a really long time, but I kind of miss it. Like, I could definitely make it by myself, but there's something different about having your parents make it for you. I don't know if this me sounding lazy, but I'm a little nostalgic about like having my grandparents make Khao Piak. So I like Khao Piak. Not just Khao Piak Sen. I like both of them, but whenever I'm sick, my grandma always made me Khao Piak. And it was like, I remember it so vividly. My parents would drop me off to my grandma's house whenever we were sick and we can't go to school, and we'd be curled up under blankets. She turned on like the HBO. I would always watch Crashbox. I love that show so much.
I know, you were showing it the other day. When you were like hella drunk. Wait, can I say that?
Yeah. I'm 21.
At Jaina's birthday, like when we were nearing the end of our night and like getting ready to bed, you were like, have you seen this show? Do you remember this show? You were like, where were we? This was my childhood.
It's a comfort show. It's my comfort show. It's so good. Like, my grandma would put that on the TV, and I could smell the Khao Piak like boiling, and like she would add pork in there. She was fancy with it, and shrimp.
That's what I had. I didn't add shrimp, but I add pork bones and chicken. So when you like combine the two meats, it just feels like a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of like explosion with the flavor. Because usually if I don't have the pork, it's just chicken, and I don't know, it really made such a difference when I added the pork bones. So your grandma was onto something.
She was onto something. I for real missed her. So for those who don't know, my grandma passed away I think in 2016. Sorry to take a dark turn, but she passed away in 2016, I believe. It might be a little different. It's been a really long time.
I know.
But cooking was one of the things that like lived on to me. I learned cooking from her, but it does make me feel like kind of nostalgic whenever I cook some of these dishes from when I was like from childhood.
What are you telling me?
Yeah. And I don't know, it's just like I want to make Khao Piak Sen, but I feel like I'm scared that it's not going to taste the same as it was when I was younger.
You know, I read somewhere that, and I think it was from a Lao person too, like a Lao chef, that they kind of had the same experience where when they were in culinary school, they didn't want to cook Lao food because they were kind of like the same mindset as me, where like, oh, I don't really know the measurements, like I literally just watch my mom. But then they realized over time that even when his mom made the food, it wasn't the same every time. Not exactly, because she just made it to where it would taste good.
Right.
And then when I read that and I'd go back home and I'd, taste my mom's food, it just was verified as soon as I was like, yeah, it doesn't taste the same every time. My mom makes this. I think it's because our mom made it, It's kind of like every house has a scent.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, like in a way, your mom's style.
Yeah. I noticed that, like, whenever I go to people's houses, I'm so picky with how certain Lao dishes are. So if I see tamakung and I, like, the tamakung is too a certain color that I don't like. Like, I like my tamakung red, I like them real red and dark, like musty, you know?
I need it like a dark red too.
Right. And so if I see people with like light green, like white sauce, I know it's not gonna hit the same, and it kind of hurts my feelings.
No, everybody makes tamakung different.
I know, and
that's a whole other podcast.
I know we're talking about Khao Piak, but like the difference between these dishes, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I am able to replicate what my parents are able to make at home. And so I don't go home as often anymore. I kind of miss it. Going back to like the main topic. So the reason why we chose Khao Piak is because I think it represented a lot with growing pains, because it's hard to enjoy your childhood dishes, but not get the same effect. It's always going to be somewhat different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's going to be like new memories surrounding it. It's never going to be the same exact experience that you had when you were younger, even though we long for those things. Like we want to go back in time where things were good. We want to go back in time where like our grandparents were still alive, our parents were probably still in a good, like, you know, good health, younger too. And that's one thing that makes me sad. It's like, although we're getting older, we're getting new experiences, it's a trade-off because they're getting older.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Because, like, when you're a kid, you kind of always, like, see your parents the same. Yeah. Because, like, honestly, when your parents have you, you're not... They're still young. Right. Generally. Right. And so they're always young when you're at the house. Like, when you're in high school, when you're in middle school, they kind of just look the same. And, like, honestly, my mom now, she actually does still look the same to me as she's always looked. But, you know, my dad, as you know, like, he grew old real fast when it came to, like, his radiation and his chemo treatments. Which was, like, so shocking to me when I came back home. And it was only, like, months since his diagnosis. He had already, like, changed so drastically. Like, my dad never looked his age. Right. And now he looks even older than his age. Right. So it's, like, weird. And it really did plummet me into, like, this fit of preservation, wanting to preserve something because there's nothing that I can do about what's going on now. But it started with, like, being kind of depressive. Honestly, I didn't even want to like touch my cultural food. Right. Yeah, because it was just trying to, like, accept it. Right. I think that's kind of like stages of grief, essentially. Yeah. Not even low-key, but, like, high-key. Yeah. I knew that, too. And that's why I didn't try to, like, fight it. Right. What do you, like... And I'm in that situation right now where, like, I don't want to see my parents age, but I know that I have to keep growing up, and then eventually I'm going to have to take their place, and the cycle continues. And I always keep myself up at night whenever thinking about this. Like, I used to cry at night when I was younger because I was like, I don't want my parents to age and get old and turn into grandparents. Like, I want them to stay the same age forever. But I know that there's, like, trade-offs, and of course there's gonna be growing pains with myself. But how do you, like, deal with that? You know, like, how are you going through your, like, daily or day-to-day basis with that on your mind? Because time's not gonna stop for us, and it's not gonna stop for them. Life just keeps going. Well, I mean, I'm not no, like, guru about... But I appreciate you asking me this. It's just more like I'm still in the process of understanding and navigating those emotions. I have definitely found myself like, at night thinking about that, which I haven't done in a long time. I know you do it, but, like, I think I learned to let my emotions just culminate. I don't know if that's a good thing, though, because I wouldn't say that I'm bottling it up, but maybe I'm not acknowledging my emotions often enough. Like, I remember, like, my parents have always been people to me, like, humans. I've always seen them that way. So I get past the idealization that my parents are always gonna be the same. Because I have to realize that as I'm progressing in my life, so are they. Right. In a weird way. And it's such a hard place for my parents right now. Or, well, really for, like, the family. I have no choice but to, like, move forward about it. And I have to think about it in, like, a positive way. In, like, at least at the moment, like, my dad's been recovering well from his surgery. And that's really what, like, matters. My parents have always been about, like, moving on and, like, forgiving. And I'm not, like, saying I'm forgiving, but it's like, if they want to move forward, I will as well.
Right.
Because giving up, honestly, is, like, not an option.
Mm-hmm.
And if I told them that I want to work on my life, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one less thing for them to worry about.
Right.
As long as they're here, I'm going to try my best to do what I can, whether it's to provide for them, like, whether that means I do pursue my graduate program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or to support them, like, emotionally. Like, literally, my dad will call me, like, every day now, which is, it's a good thing that he does, because I love that I can talk to him.
Right.
Because before, we get used to, like, not calling our parents every day because we're gone, but he calls me every day, and it'd be, like, I'm not gonna lie, it could be sometimes, like, silly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, Allie, can you buy, like, disposable gloves for me on Amazon? Actually, I literally order stuff on Amazon for him, like, almost every day.
That's good.
It's good, but girl, let me see.
I understand.
If 7 a.m., I'm trying to sleep.
I'm sorry. Not the 7 a.m.
Yes.
Amazon orders. That's crazy.
No, yeah, and look, I will buy it for him,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, as long as I'm accepting them aging, my dad has gone through a stage himself where he can tell that, I think to an extent he can tell how much he's affected me and my brother, because he's not been, like, the best dad, and it's hard to be the best dad.
Right.
Especially when you have a lot of stuff you need to deal with.
Right.
But the way that he talks to me now is a little different.
Right.
Like, he's changed. And when I put it like that, it's like I'm nostalgic for the wrong things. Like, the fact that my dad has been able to, like, change it's just really, like, a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it took so long, even though it took him having to go through, like, this really surreal, like, weird life crises. It's still something that has, in a way, like, brought something new to our relationship.
Right. And that's kind of one of the, I know there's growing pains, but there's also good things from growing, right? There's good things from aging. There, at no point in life do you just stop changing or stop improving.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something new, no matter what age group or what milestone you're at in life. And so I think it's super interesting. My parents are also, growing up, there are a lot of things that I judged them for, and I'm sure there's a lot of things they judged me for.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm a little bit older, I can understand, like, that, you know, they were once kids too. You know, they were once 21-year-olds or 20-year-olds who were going to school and doing the same thing, who were in their same position, wishing their parents were still going to be with them forever, you know? Yeah. And it's hard to, like, bring up things that are hurting me in my childhood while also thinking about things that might be hurting them in both their childhood and adulthood, and, like, just caring for kids, because I don't know, when I was younger, I was probably more selfish than I am now. Hopefully, like, I've changed.
You kind of have to go through that, though, as a kid, especially when your parents kind of end up making you their whole world,
right?
Whether it was them being over controlling or very passive. You know, my parents were very controlling when I was younger, and I needed to learn for myself as soon as I was out of their scope what it really meant to be less selfish. Yeah. Like, there's not room for me to be selfish sometimes. Yeah. It's good to be selfish, and I've learned when I can play selfishness, but as soon as I was out of that hemisphere, because all our parents wanted to do is, like, protect us, right?
But when we were younger, we probably didn't see that. Like, what we thought at the time, like, let's say I wanted to go to my friend's house, and my parents were fairly passive. I think there's sometimes when they were a bit controlling, but I wouldn't say controlling. They did it in the right increments, but to me, it was like
the end of the world.
Yeah, it was the end of the world. I was like, you're not gonna let me sleep over. I was like, I'm gonna die. But, like, going back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would punch little me. Just because, like, I didn't understand, like, what my parents went through, like, how they saw me. I only knew from my point of view. Yeah. So it's a lot different now that we're older and we can understand a lot more. But the thing that is also keeping me going now, despite like, you know, parents are getting older, they might not have as much energy, they're aging, is that there's always going to be something new. I think my dad and my mom have been doing, and my brother too, have been doing a good job of sending updates in the family group chat. We keep the communication up is what, like, if I didn't have communication with them, I would probably be really sad.
I remember when we talked about how we don't really like call our parents, and that was a while ago. And it's very interesting that both of us are experiencing that shift where we are communicating more often with our parents. I mean, I'm also trying to do that with my brother, because I love my brother so much, and he's another aspect of my life that helped me realize, like, that I have to keep moving forward, because he's got in such a nice position for his first job.
Right. I'm so proud of him.
I know, I'm so proud of him too. And in a way that really, like, motivates me. And I want to see him, like, all the time. And I don't call him as much as I should, but, you know, he's also, like, a working man. So.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah, like, when you mentioned your brother, just made me think of that.
Yeah, I feel like, also another thing I was going to say earlier, when your dad, like, calls you to, you know, make Amazon orders. One thing I noticed with my brother is that there's always going to be an excuse or a reason why they call. It doesn't have to make sense, but it's just really nice to be in the presence of someone and just hearing their voice. And so Aiden will randomly call me at 12 a.m. and he'll be like, abortion rights. Argue it. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I have an assignment, help me do it and argue abortion rights. And I was like, what is going on?
That's funny, actually.
And then, like, he would call me again in the next, like, 2 hours with another controversial, like, topic for me. Yeah, I don't know why he wants me to,
is
like...
Is he in debate club or something?
I don't know, but I think he just trusts my opinions, which he shouldn't.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to make his own so y'all can argue or something.
I know. I can't argue with him because, like, I would just tell him stuff. He'd be like, oh, word? Okay.
I guess in a way it's nice to know that he can look at you as a source like that. Yeah. Cause my brother and I kind of like do the same thing.
That's good. That's good.
We're not like debating, but we definitely like open up ourselves to talking about serious things like that too.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed is like me and my brother have been talking more about like our childhood and growing up, and I know like we grew up in the same household. Yeah. My brother and I used to hate each other. We used to fight. He bit me. There's so many times where we would fight, like, growing up, and I know we got into the biggest fights, like, even, for real, like, in the recent years, but probably within the past 5 years, maybe a little bit less than that, probably, like, 4 or 3, we've gotten really, really close now that we are getting into, like, our adult years.
Yeah, you're outside of the hemisphere.
Right, we're outside the hemisphere. We're both in school. We're not in that household anymore. Yeah. We're away from our parents. Our parents are doing good. Yeah. You know, there's not, like, anything tying us back to that house.
Exactly.
And it's made it a lot easier for us to grow as people, as individual people, like not being pressured by like parents or by other, you know, forces within that house, that childhood home.
No, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's pretty nice. When's the last time you talked to your brother?
Yeah, last time I talked to my brother was yesterday.
Nice.
Thanksgiving plans.
Nice.
It'd be nice to see him because I know I'm not going to see him for Christmas because he's going to be at Lily's family in Charleston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they're serious.
Wow, they're serious.
Serious-ass couple.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute. If you guys are listening to this, we're rooting for you. I hope you're listening.
They've been dating for like more than 3, 4, 5 years now.
So essentially they're married. Like,
don't say that. I don't know how they feel if they heard that.
Just kidding, you guys didn't hear that.
Edit it out.
Edit it out. Like, yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, we definitely will go down to Thanksgiving. Now that I'm like, again, when I was younger, I used to hate Thanksgiving because I just didn't like the hassle of all the family members coming to that house and like squeezing everyone. I got kicked out of my room so many times.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And be like, no, your grandma or your aunt has to sleep in your bed, and so my room would get taken over, and I would be literally on the floor, like in the living room, you know, with 5 other people sleeping on the couches around me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got a lot of family members.
I have a lot of family members. So at times I did get very tired. Just so much stimulation. Like there's so many people coming from so many different places. There's family drama. And there's just so much stuff. But now that I'm older and I'm away from family, I do have to say I miss it.
No, because now that, like you said earlier, like now that you're older, you understand why it was so important for your parents to have that intense gathering. Because now that we're adults and we plan shit or plan stuff, they were doing that whenever they would call all of the family members to come to this house that suddenly became small.
Yeah. Oh,
and you get it now.
I get it now. I'm enlightened.
Exactly.
I have opened my third eye. So I'm good
so
now.
next time I invite you for Khao Piak.
Okay.
So next time I invite you or all my friends to come have some Khao Piak Sen, come over.
I will this time. I want to preface again that the dog was shitting blood. The dog that I was dog sitting was shitting blood. This is not a lie. That was the reason why I couldn't come to Khao Piak. But next time. No, don't say it's the truth.
It's okay. We have all fall, all winter.
Yeah. I brought lobsters for her too. Just want to put that out there.
That she got for free.
Yeah, but I brought them. I brought this too.
I didn't get the ingredients for Khao Piak Sen for free.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for listening into this podcast. I know it's been a really long time since we've talked to you guys, but it's always nice to engage with people that are listening. We want to hear your thoughts too. Please feel free to DM us or comment on our Instagram about growing pains, things that you miss in childhood and how that's affected you in adulthood, or just your thoughts on the podcast. We'd love to hear more about it because we're trying to start this up again. Don't know how that's gonna hold up.
We're freelancers.
We're freelancers, okay? We run on freelance time.
We really do, though.
Yeah, we're both students, so hopefully people understand. But I still have so much stuff to edit that I said I was gonna post, and I haven't posted yet. So
yeah, that's not my business.
Yeah, it's not your business. I got it. Well, thank you guys for listening for another episode of the Talkative Laotian podcast. Thamu.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.